Good morning, brothers and sisters in Christ. Welcome to another reading through the Bible series with Law of Christ Ministries. This is part 177 of our daily scripture reading, continuing in the book of 1 Samuel, picking up in chapter 22 in verse 20. And the son of Abimelech, son of Achitob, escaped, and his name was Abiathar. And he fled after David. And Abiathar told David that Saul put to death all the priests of the Lord. And David said to Abiathar, I knew in that day that Doeg the Syrian, that telling he would tell Saul, I am responsible for the lives of your father's house. Stay with me, do not be afraid, for where I shall seek a place for my life, I shall also seek one for your life. For you are safe with me. And it was told to David, saying, Behold, the Philistines are fighting in Keilah, and they are despoiling, they are trampling and threshing floors. And David inquired through the Lord, saying, Shall I go and attack these Philistines? And the Lord said, Go, and you shall attack among these Philistines and rescue Keilah. And David's men said to him, Behold, we are afraid here in Judea, and how will it be if we go to Keilah? And we shall enter into the spoils of the Philistines. And David added to inquire again through the Lord, and the Lord answered him and said to him, Arise and go down to Keilah, for I have given the Philistines into your hands. And David went, and the men who were with him, to Keilah, and fought with the Philistines, and they fled from before him, and brought away their livestock, and dealt a heavy blow among them. And David rescued the inhabitants of Keilah. And it happened when Abiathar, son of Abimelech, fled to David, that he came down to David to Keilah, having an ephod in his hand. And it had told Saul that David had come to Keilah. And Saul said, God has sold him into my hands, for he has shut himself in having entered a town of doors and bars. And Saul summoned all the people to war to go down to Keilah to besiege David and his men. And David learned that Saul was not keeping the evil concerning him quiet. And David said to the priest Abiathar, Bring the ephod of the Lord here. And David said, O Lord, the God of Israel, hearing your slave has heard that Saul seeks to come to Keilah to destroy the city on my account. Will it be shut up? And now will Saul come down as your slave has heard? O Lord, the God of Israel, tell your slave. And the Lord said, It will be shut up. And David arose, and the men who were with him, about 400, and they departed from Keilah, and they were going wherever they went. And it was told Saul that David had escaped from Keilah, and he gave up to go out. And David settled in the wilderness in Massarim at the Narrows, and he sat in the wilderness of Mount Ziph in the dry country. And Saul was seeking him all the days, and the Lord did not give him into his hands. And David saw that Saul was coming out to seek David, and David was in the dry mountain in the Ziph. And Saul's son Jonathan set out and came to David at new and strengthened his hands in the Lord. And he said to him, Do not be afraid, for the hand of my father Saul shall not find you, and you shall be king over Israel, and I shall be second to you. And my father Saul knows that this is so. And both of them made a covenant before the Lord. And David sat at New, and Jonathan departed to his house. And the Ziphites from the dry country went up to Saul on the hill, saying, Behold, is David not hiding among us in Mazarah, in the narrows, in you, in the hill of Hechelah, which is on the right of Jesaiamon? And now, as for everything that is on the king's mind for a descent, let him descend to us. They have shut him up into the king's hand. And Saul said to them, May you be blessed to the Lord, for you felt sorry for me. Do go and make ready once more, and know his place where his foot will be quickly. There you said, Lest he be cunning, and look around, and I know, and we will go with you. And it will be, if he is in the land, I will search him out among all the thousands of Judah. And the Ziphites set out and went ahead of Saul And David and his men were in the Ma'an wilderness in the evening to the right of Josiah. And Saul went and his men to search him, and they reported to David, and he went down to the rock that is in the wilderness of Ma'an. And Saul heard and pursued after David into the wilderness of Ma'an. And Saul and his men went on one side of the mountain, and David and his men on the other side of the mountain. And David was sheltering himself to get away from before Saul. And Saul and his men encamped against David and his men to capture them. And a messenger came to Saul, saying, "Hurry and come, for the Philistines have made a raid on the land." And Saul turned back from pursuing after David and went to meet the Philistines. Therefore, that place was called Divided Rock. All right, guys, we're going to stop there for today. Lord willing, we'll be back tomorrow. Peace and blessings.